guys are having a wonderful, blessed day, because Grammie's having a wonderful, blessed day. I am in the kitchen this morning, and this is my first day back to work. Just one day I had already scheduled for a vacation a while back, and then with my leg being the way it is, I just took a few more extra days off to rest, and I did little things around the house, like I sat and went through some drawers and went through some closets and did some things like that. But today, I am going back to work for the first time, and my plan was to give my co-workers these goodie boxes, and I was going to take them fresh cookies and put in there. But because I didn't go to work and I wasn't able to drive for a few days, I decided to take them some hot, fresh, homemade cinnamon rolls this morning for an after Christmas snack that's saying Merry Christmas. I thought of you at Christmas, kind of a thing, you know. So I thought I'd let you guys kind of watch me make that this morning. It's about 6:30. I have to be at work at 8:30. So these are some quick cinnamon rolls you can do if you have a couple of hours to get up and get them together. Let me gather all the ingredients, and I'll meet you back in the kitchen. I'm so glad to be back in the kitchen with you guys today. I'll be right back. Okay, family, I am back, and I have got our ingredients. So I'm going to bring you over here, and we're going to turn you down. Okay, I'm back, and I've got the ingredients. I'm using one of my new Christmas bowls that my sister-in-law sent me. She knows I love Pioneer Woman, and these are glass. A lot of my bowls that I have are plastic, and they have the little rubber thing on the bottom because they're for mixing, and I can't put them in the microwave. So she was listening to me talk over Thanksgiving, and she sent me some glass bowls, and these are just perfect because I can put this dough back in here, cover it with a towel, set it on back of the oven with the oven on, and the yeast will rise. The yeast dough will just rise wonderful. Okay, so what you're going to need for this, you're going to need 4.5 cups of flour. I sifted mine in here. I like to sift my flour. I just think that it does better. And then you've got a stick of butter that's melted. You've got a teaspoon of salt. You have a tablespoon of baking powder. You have 2 eggs and 1 cup of milk. Now this is warm milk. I've already got it warm. I'm going to add 2 packs of the fast rising yeast. Now, if you can get away with having one, you go right ahead and do it, because I always have a problem with my bread rising. I don't know if it's the moisture in my house or what it is, but I always use 2. That way I get a rise like I want, and it's really not that big of a deal to have 2. So let's go ahead and let's open this up. I add 1 pack, and then I'm going to add another pack. This one's already open. Goodness gracious. It's Monday morning around this house, let me tell you. Okay, let me cut this one off of this one. And I have another one for another time. We'll put that up. Give me a little stir. And just kind of stir that in there. Now, I'll let this sit here probably for about 5, 6, 7 minutes, just until it starts frothing. And as soon as we get it frothing, I'll show you what it'll look like, and I'll be back. But this is it. This is basically the ingredients for the dough. I don't think I'm missing anything. I don't normally get up and cook right before work, but I wanted to make them some delicious hot rolls. So while we're waiting for that, I'm going to tell you a funny story. So, the adventures of Grammie. So this weekend, me and my husband were home alone because my little girl went off to my niece's house. And so we were out one day just kind of looking where we were shopping for a dryer. And we decided to stop into this little McDonald's. They had rebuilt it, and they had tore it down and put a brand new one. And we hadn't been inside of it. So we said, let's just go in there. We'll just order a little cup of ice cream and just kind of sit and enjoy the day. And that's what we did, just kind of like being nosy, see what it looked like inside. So we got ready to go, and I said, well, let me run to the restroom, because I usually have to go to the restroom, and I didn't want to get out on the middle of the road and it not be a place to go. So remember, it's a new bathroom. It's a new New place, new bathrooms, everything. So I'm hurrying. He's gone out to the van, and I go to the restroom. And I walk in, and there's 2 sets of sinks, and then I walk in, and there's 2 more sets of weird sinks. And in my mind, I stopped, and I looked at them, and I thought, those are the weirdest sinks that I've ever seen in my life. All of a sudden, a light bulb went off in my head, and I thought, oh, my Lord Jesus. Those are urinals. I'm in the men's bathroom. Oh, I thank God so much that there was nobody else in that bathroom. Let me tell you something. I had bad knee and all. I hightailed it out of that bathroom. Nobody saw me come out. I was like a speed of lightning. I was like, phew. They didn't know that door had opened and somebody else had went across the hall to the women's bathroom. When I came out, I was just giggling and laughing. And it had happened to Grandpa Harold once before. He had went to the women's bathroom in a McDonald's before, and so I'd always made fun of him. Now he has something to make fun of me. I'm going to let this come up to a good froth. I always call it a froth. It's a bubble, whatever it's called. But when it gets there, we'll come back. I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. We're going to add this together. We're going to roll it out, pound it, beat it, put it in a pan, let it rise, punch it again. It's a good thing to get out your therapy this morning. Punch, roll, punch, roll, punch, roll, punch. Let it rise, punch on it again. I'll be right back. Okay, family. One of the things I forgot in my ingredients was 1/3 cup of sugar. You're going to need some brown sugar and some cinnamon and butter for the center when we get ready to roll it. But I forgot to put the 1/3 cup, and I put it down in the warm milk with the yeast to give it to something to kind of eat. Kind of feed it a little bit and get it going and waking it up. So I was getting ready to go over there to do some dishes and get the pans ready, and said, you know what? I think I forgot my sugar. And I did. So, perfect bread maker. I just kind of play around, and then what works for me is what I do. So this is what works for me. So that yeast needs to get a little bit more frothy. It's getting there, but it's just kind of the slow. It's supposed to be fast acting, but it's Monday morning, first day back to work after a holiday. I guess yeast is just like people. Anyway, I'll be right back. Okay, family, I'm back with clean hands. Let's start getting this yeast mixed up and going. Let me get me a spoon. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my yeast, and you can see it's frothy, smelling alive and good. So hopefully it's ready to do what it needs to do. I'm going to go ahead and put my 2 eggs in there. My farm fresh eggs for my girls outside. So let's get that in there. I'm going to try to get all of my liquid that needs to be put in here. I'm going to go ahead and put my butter. It's 1 stick of butter in there. And then we're just going to kind of beat this into the yeast. I'm going to put my tablespoon of baking powder, baking soda. Baking powder. Put my 1 teaspoon of baking powder in there. My 1 teaspoon of salt. And then I'm going to do all my liquid ingredients in here a little at a time. And we're just going to start mixing. Let me pull that over where you can see what I'm doing. So, these are the yeast rolls that I make every Christmas morning for my family. They're the cinnamon rolls. I can't talk this morning, so you guys just have to overlook me. I make for my family every Christmas morning. And now we're just going to mix it till it resembles some kind of dough ball. Work all of that flour in from the sides. Just kind of work. And then we're going to wipe this counter down. put a piece of aluminum foil down because I'm out of wax paper and parchment paper. I thought I had some wax paper left, but I used it all. And it's 7 o'clock in the morning. I think our grocery store might just be opening, but I don't have time to run out and get it. So we're going to make do with what we've got. Grammie's not organized this morning. Grammie is not organized this morning, let me tell you. But I wanted to get in the kitchen with you guys, get back to doing what we're doing. Now this is a little bit of a wet dough, so we're going to add just a little bit more flour. I got my flour bin over here. I can get it open this morning. It's about time for me to buy some more flour. So I'm going to put just a little more flour in there because we want it just a little bit drier when we put it out to roll it. So let's mix that in. You can do this dough on a dough hook. Save you a little time on your mixer. That's perfectly all right. And I'm going to get in here with my hands now. I'm going to flour my hands a little bit. Just get me a little flour. Now I'm going to get in here and I'm going to kind of work this dough around a little bit. Get all that extra flour off of that bowl. And now it's coming together. See how it's pulling away from the bowl? It's doing exactly what you want. You don't want it too wet and you don't want it too dry. You want a tender dough, but sometimes you have to add a little bit more flour. And it just depends on the humidity in your house. I'm just telling you, when you're doing bread, it's so many things that come into play with how it comes together. So let's move this stuff over here. I'm going to open up this drawer, get some Reynolds wrap out. Reynolds wrap works good for a lot of numerous things, so. Sure, I'm not the first person in the world to have to roll dough out on Reynolds wrap. I could just do it on my counter, but I've been working with egg and everything else on this counter this morning, and I don't want to make anybody sick, so we're going to do that. We're going to take our dough ball out. We'll put it over here. I'm going to put that over there because we're going to put a little oil in that and put it back in that bowl. Now I'm just going to work this dough. Just work it. Get a little more flour on it so it's sticking a little bit. If it's sticking, no big worries. You just sprinkle your whatever you're working on. I'd love to get me a dough board, but I don't really do bread that much. Push it away from you. It's still a little bit sticky. Push that dough away from you. Fold it and push it away. I'm going to keep doing this till I get it perfectly done and ready to go in the bowl. We're going to oil that bowl, put it in there, cover it up with a towel, set it on the back of the stove. When it's doubled in size, I'm going to come back. We'll punch it down together. We're going to roll it out, put some cinnamon and brown sugar in the middle of it. Get them set aside for about a 15 to 20 minute rise again. I don't really count the second rise in time. I just look at them and I know what they look like. I know when they're ready. Like I said, some recipes say an hour for this, an hour for that. But let me tell you, if dough's ready in 30 minutes, it's ready in 30 minutes. And that's just the truth. So I do everything by eye. I'm not really that great of a recipe follower. You guys know that. Okay. I've got this dough where it's pretty pliable. And that's what you're looking for. Where it's stretchy. And if there's dough makers out there that's watching me, know that I'm not an expert. But anyway, we're going to take that. We're going to put a little oil, put it in the bowl, and sit on the back of the stove. And I will be back when it's doubled in size and ready to be punched down. Okay, it's time to punch some dough. Let's go down here and punch some dough. This dough has doubled in size, and the bowl is good and warm, so we're going to punch that dough down. We're going to pull it out of here. Oh my gosh. We got this dough flipped out. I'm going right on top of my clean counter here. I'm going to put a little flour. Just a little flour, not a lot. Just enough to where I can really get in here and work this dough. We're just going to kind of get a little bit more flour. I'm kind of working in a hurry because it's about time to leave for work. And these cinnamon rolls need to rise just a little bit more. So, I think that's going to be some good dough. I'm going to get me a rolling pin and we're going to roll that out. Get me a little flour. You don't want to put a whole lot of flour on it at this time. You want to make sure that you're keeping the softness of the dough. So let's roll it. I mean, we really got some good rise in here, but we've got to get this dough rolled out. Make sure it's not sticking anywhere. I think we're good. I think we're good. Pick it up and I'm going to flip it this way. And we're going to roll this way. We've got to get it rolled out pretty good. And if it comes apart, just patch it. Usually I'm not in such a hurry to make this. And my plan was to kind of do everything last night and put it in the refrigerator and then set it out for its second rise this morning. But we had a funeral yesterday. And we just had a lot going on. A lot going on yesterday. And it was late when we got back home. We got lost coming back from the cemetery. We took a wrong turn. And we had to go about an hour to go get Megan. She was gone away for the weekend. So now we're just going to start buttering this. And like I said, usually I take a little more care, a little more time. I wanted to make a video for you guys this morning. I hope I've done good to make a good video. I just want to spend time with you guys and talk to you guys. And if I don't get to talk to you guys for a few days, it makes me sad. I still have to be careful standing in one spot too long with my leg, but I'm just going to tell you, the Lord has just blessed my leg. He's just blessed it because they were talking about I had to have that taken out. I'm going to tell you something, that varicose vein has disappeared. I think it imploded and God got rid of it and it's gone. So in this, I have 1.5 cups of brown sugar and 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. And we're just going to put that on there. I know that looks like a lot, but I'm just going to tell you, I like a lot. I like a lot. I like a lot. We're just going to kind of smooth that out there. And then it'll get on there with that butter. Now we're going to take and we're going to roll these. And I'm rolling them this way because I want to get as many of them out as I can out. And I just use my thumbs. And I just pull, stretch, and roll. Pull some more and then some more. That's what I do, and I just keep doing that till I get all the way to the other side. Now I can just start rolling like that now that I got a good start going. Still a little sticky, still sticking a little bit, but we're going to go with it. Get it out. Now I will lose some of that cinnamon and stuff out of there. Now we're going to stretch this side over, stretch this side over, stretch that side over. And we're going to roll it over. Now we got us a cinnamon log. I'm going to go get the pans. Set them right here. I got a knife over here that I'm going to use. And I'm just going to start cutting. Probably about 1 inch. You can do them a lot thicker if you want to. Just kind of cut them. You can do them with a string. That'll kind of help too. I promised my little girl that I would bake her off a couple of these this morning. And And I'm telling you, mine normally look a lot prettier than this. But I've been in a hurry. I'm pressed for time. And I can't let things do what they need to do. So I'm going to put that cinnamon roll. Even an ugly cinnamon roll tastes delicious. Let's pick that up. Set that in the pan. Usually I make ginormous cinnamon rolls. Put them in there. Let me get me a spatula because these are kind of wanting to fall apart. Like I said, usually I make them a lot thicker. But I'm wanting to make enough to give out. I'm going to use my spatula. The spatula did much better. Because the dough is so tender, it needs something to kind of rest on. Okay, those are looking much better. Much better. We'll put a few more in this pan. Smells wonderful. Just let me tell y'all, it smells wonderful. Okay. That's enough in those. They're going to set back on the stove again. They're going to rise again, probably for about 10-15 minutes. We're going to go into this pan. Put them in there. I promise. They're going to taste good. They're normally pretty. I did some cinnamon rolls earlier. I just used a different kind of dough. That year I tried a potato flake dough. And I like that potato dough. And it's really tender and good, but those are going to turn out delicious. Sometimes you just have to do what things will let you do. Let's get them turned over in there. All right. I'm going to kind of take this one and go like that. Pick him up. Hang him back down. These are going to be delicious. I'm just going to tell you. I'm going to put a couple in there. A couple more in here. Alright, those are ready to go rise. And then I'm going to get the little pan that I got from my little girl. We're going to put them in here like this. Make her a big fat one. Okay, that's our cinnamon rolls. I'll put them over here. I know they look like they're not going to turn out much, but once they rise and we bake them off in the oven, they're going to be beautiful. Like I said, usually I have a little bit more time to work. I'm going to clean up my mess and we'll come back and show you the icing that we're going to make for them. I'll be right back. This is just one of these days that is not going Grammie Nae Nae's way. It is just not going my way. I do not have any powdered sugar in this house. I went through every bit of it when I was making candy and peanut butter balls for people for Christmas. And I thought that I had one more bag back there. Okay, family. We back. And these cinnamon rolls done. And I think they turned out pretty delicious looking. Like I said, I usually, on Christmas, I make the thick ones. But I wanted to make sure that they would serve a good many people. This is the pan I did for my little girl. And I didn't have powdered sugar for icing, but I'm going to put a little condensed milk on the top of them. And that's going to give them a little more sweetness. So, there's always a plan B. Always a plan B. So, I got a little can of condensed milk. I'm going to turn you down. When in need, condensed milk will work. So I'm just going to pour a little bit on top of them. Just a little bit. Just kind of drizzle them on there. You don't want to put a whole lot. You don't want to make them so sweet that you send people to the hospital. But just a little drizzling of this. Make sure we get some on there. It's going to make that good. Let's go over here, drizzle again. These are still a little warm, so that condensed milk will melt down into them. And so, if you can't, usually what I use is about 2 cups of powdered sugar, about a tablespoon of white corn syrup, and then I mix it together with just a little milk until I get it to the consistency that I want it. And look how good that looks.
Just a little condensed milk to the rescue because I'm out of powdered sugar.
but normally I make my own. And so I like to show you guys some Plan Bs. It was not something that I had scheduled to do, but hey, sometimes you just got to do what a girl's got to do to get done, to get out of the house. Now, it is 8:24. I got to be at work at 8:30. I'm going to put some saran wrap on these. Pretty much use that whole can. And I'm going to take some pictures of people eating these at work. About ready to head out the door. I love you guys. Hope you guys have a wonderful, blessed day. I'm so glad to be back in the kitchen, able to walk, able to do. God deserves the glory this morning because he's a good God. And we're going to go feed some people this morning. Yes, we are. We're going to go feed them this, and I'm going to take a few snapshots if they'll let me. All righty. Love you guys. Till next time, I'm Grammie Nae Nae. I love you, and I'm praying for you. God bless.